these family resorts. And they had this, it was a ride. It was called a mountain coaster or something like that. And so it was a track that went up into a mountain and then wound its way down. And the way it worked is there was sort of a two-person, it looked almost like a bobsled that you got in, and two people would go up, and in that car you'd go down the mountain. So we were going, and the kids all wanted to go. Now my niece, who was maybe about 4 at the time, really wanted to go, because all of her cousins were going. This is a kid who does not like things that are fast, and does not like things that are loud. Right? So I could see where this was going, and she's saying she wants to go, and she wants to go with me. And so I had this pull inside of me. Do I dissuade her? Do I say, you know, you're not going to like this? Or do I let her have this experience because she's feeling she wants to step outside of her comfort zone? So, you know, I say to her, you know, it's really fast. Are you sure? Yeah, all my cousins are going. I want to go. It's really loud. Yeah, all my cousins are going. I want to go. Okay, so you can tell this is not going to end well. So we get on, and she gets in front, and I get behind her. And it's somewhat electronic, but also somewhat manual. You have this brake that they show you how to use to slow yourself down as you're going down the mountain. So we get in and we start going up. You know, and at that moment, she turns around and she says, "I want to get off." So right, this is the point of no return, right? So we get up to the top of the mountain, and there's that moment right before the precipice when we're going to get down. And she looks around at me and she says, "Okay, now I really want to get off." And I say, you know, it's going to be great. So we start going down, and the first turn around the bend, I'm able to pull that brake back and to slow us down. But as the successive turns come, I'm less and less able to slow us down. And we are going faster and faster. And she is crying. I mean, the tears are pouring down her face. Stop it, stop it. And I'm doing everything I can to slow us down. But then I notice behind us there's another buggy coming up. Another one of these mountain buggies. And really, I have to let us go as quickly as we can around these turns. And we're going faster and faster, and she is crying, and I'm feeling, you know, all my maternal instinct is kicking in. I should be protecting this kid. I have to slow us down. How can I get us off? But there's nothing I can do other than to go down the mountain with her. And so I do the only thing I can, which is to talk to her. And I say, this is so hard, and this is so scary, but you're doing it anyway. You are such a brave girl. And she's crying, and the tears are pouring down her cheeks, and I'm saying, this is fabulous. You were so worried about this, and you are so brave. You're doing it anyway. And after what felt like, you know, 3 hours of therapy on the roller coaster, was maybe a minute, we got to the bottom, and, you know, we get to that horizontal plane, and the coaster stops, and they open the door for us to get out, and she jumps out, and she wipes the tears off of her face, and her cousins are there waiting for her, and she runs to them, and she says, "That was awesome." Right? And it made me think about it, how often in life we are in our own free fall. And we have that experience of, I am zooming down this mountain in my life, and it is too fast, and it is too loud, and somebody slow this down and help me and get me off of this ride. And there's nothing we can do to get off the ride. And in fact, we're meant to be on that ride of our life. And yet, how different would it be if we had a voice there whispering to us, this is so hard, and you are so scared, and you are so brave. You're so brave, you're doing it anyway. If we look at the miracle of Chanukah, we can see a little bit of a hint, a clue at how we can find that voice for ourselves. So what's the miracle of Chanukah? There was a jug of oil. It was meant to last 1 day, and yet it burned for 8 days. So you would think that the miracle really is only those 7 additional days. The first day that the oil burned, that's the laws of nature. It should burn anyway. And only really we would light the menorah for the additional 7 days to mark the miracle of those extra 7 days of the oil burning. So there are many explanations of why we actually light the menorah for 8 days. And I found one last year that really resonated for me. In order to understand this reason, we have to really picture what was going on for the Jewish people at that time. And that is that we were in a spiritual freefall. And our temple, our Beit HaMikdash, was destroyed. So we have to envision what it would be like to walk into our own home, our own bedroom, the place where we built our family and our lives, our community, and to imagine it completely destroyed. To walk into our own home and to find our family portraits torn and on the floor, to see graffiti on our kitchen walls, to find utter destruction and emptiness made of the most holy, sacred, personal spaces in our life. And to think that's what it was for the Maccabees, the Jewish army, to walk into the temple and to see absolute, utter destruction, that our temple was completely ransacked. And they found one jug of oil. Now, if I walked into my home and I found that scene of destruction and chaos, I think probably the first thing I would do would be to sit down and cry, to feel destroyed and hopeless. And yet, what did they do? They took that jug of oil and they lit it. And that's the miracle of the first day. That from within that free fall, from within that, oh my gosh, get me off this ride, they lit a light and they moved forward. And that in and of itself is miraculous. Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach tells us that within each Jew is buried a drop of that pure oil. That in every generation we think the light will go out, that it won't burn even one more night, and yet it does. And in that miracle is the voice whispering to us, you have that oil in you. You have that hope in you. You're hurtling down a roller coaster. It is so scary. You feel like you're in a free fall. You're so scared, and yet you're doing it anyway.